for the invitation.
All right, we've told you all the dust up right now on Capitol Hill. This is the week we're told the Republicans are going to rally around one Paul Ryan to succeed John Boehner as Speaker of the House. First, they do it in conference, and then at the end of the week on Thursday, the full House votes for it. Presumably, Paul Ryan has got the 218 votes he needs. What rankles some, though, conservatives in particular, is how it is that he enjoys this support among Republicans when the likes of Joe Biden and Harry Reid are singing Paul Ryan's praises. Gina Loudon is probably wondering the same thing. She's a Tea Partier who is not ashamed to keep saying it. And I guess, Gina, your concern is the Tea Party might be losing some steam here. What do you think?
Actually, my concern is not that the Tea Party is losing steam, because I don't think the Tea Party as itself has ever been. I mean, it's the whole thing about the Tea Party from the very beginning, and I was there at the beginning, as somebody who's been a lifelong Republican. I was tired of the label because I didn't want to be identified with the John Boehners of the world, right? And so that was the point, was we didn't want the labels, and I think the Tea Party...
Well, then are you surprised then, Gina, that in that Freedom Caucus dominated by 40-some-odd Tea Partiers, largely, that most of them are inclined to support Paul Ryan now?
You know, it does surprise me a little bit that they're going that way. I liked when they were tossing around names like Daniel Webster and some others. But I do think that you have to consider and give credit where it's due, and that is that, number one, basically the Tea Party, whatever that is, that very fractured, non-labelable group, they toppled a speaker, for all intents and purposes. And if you look at the top 4 or 5 presidential candidates that are polling the highest right now, those candidates are essentially Tea Party candidates. Now, that doesn't mean that everyone who supports them wants to be labeled Tea Party any more than they ever wanted to be labeled Republican or anything else. These are independent thinkers who are conservative, who see our country going to a very politically correct statist direction.
But they all seem to be glomming to that, Gina. And it might work out. Who am I to know how this sorts out? But Donald Trump was particularly critical on the part of some establishment Republicans, for lack of a better word, Gina, who have taken the government shutdown as a tool off the table. In other words, Donald Trump said, I'm paraphrasing here, you lose your leverage when you lose a key arsenal in your fight when you say you won't shut down the government. Now, obviously, Paul Ryan believes that. Mitch McConnell believes that is a mistake to go that route, to threaten a government shutdown. That gets Donald Trump angry, gets some other conservatives angry. How does it make you feel?
That gets any red-blooded American who loves freedom angry. You don't negotiate away your chips before you ever start the game. And that's what I think made everyone so mad at Boehner and the establishment Republicans. Neil, I've been on your show for I don't know how many years screaming about this issue, that refusal to use the leverage that the Republicans have, that refusal to ever define the narrative, Neil, is what makes conservatives so mad. And that's why they're flocking to candidates like Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, Ben Carson.
All right, Gina, it's always a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Neil.
She keeps up the fight. Say that. All right. Meanwhile, Bernie getting rough on Hillary. Did any of you catch this? Take a look.
That agreement is not now, nor has it ever been, the gold standard of trade agreements. I did not support it yesterday. I do not support it today, and I will not